All right, really CrossFit athletes, I thought today that I would just go over some of the reasons why we WOD. Why do we do this weird thing where we go at a super high intensity for a shorter duration of time than traditionally is done in gyms, right? Traditionally, if we're gonna do a metabolic conditioning session, it was thought that if you're gonna improve your heart, you needed to go for 30 to 60 minutes, get your heart rate up and sustain it over that period of time. Well, what we're finding out with this graph here is that we can have awesome results on our cardiovascular fitness by doing other things. So what this is showing us is that there's basically 3 metabolic pathways that your body uses to produce the energy to do any sort of physical activity. The first one is the phosphocreatine pathway. That pathway is used in a 1 rep max effort type of thing. So think about a 1 rep deadlift, a 1 rep snatch. Think about a 40-yard dash. This is something that typically lasts less than 10 seconds and is an all-out effort. Lots of power produced over a short duration of time, okay? Then if we get into some longer time durations, 2 to 3 minutes, we get into this other pathway called the glycolytic or lactate acid or lactate pathway. The lactate pathway goes on for basically 2 to 3 minutes, produces a good amount of power, but is still relatively short in duration. Think of like a 400-meter sprint or a pretty elite level Fran time, right? That's the glycolytic lactate pathways being only used in that pathway. Then we have the aerobic or oxidative pathway that is used it's like a 40% max effort sort of thing. Think about 10K, think about marathon, think about, Murph, a workout like that. Now, the interesting thing is, and one of the reasons why CrossFit has found out they get so many good results is CrossFit lives in this pathway. And not all of our WODs are 2 to 3 minutes long, but we end up utilizing this pathway in the way of intervals. So a lot of our workouts, we do something and then we rest, right? And then we do something and we run out of energy and we rest, okay? So a lot of times we're kind of mixing these pathways, but we're living a lot of our time in this pathway. And what we've learned is that, guess what? If you live in this pathway, you can also gain strength. If you live in this pathway, you can also gain aerobic capacity. So you can improve the ability of either of these pathways by working a lot in this pathway. And that's what the science and research has showed us with interval training and with high intensity interval training at that. That's one of the reasons why CrossFit is so effective. So just a little peek behind the scientific curtain of why WODing works.